Morning, folks. This is Deb. This whole approach by the Democrats of calling the Republicans weird is oddly enough working. It really gets under their skin. And I think they should just move full steam ahead on that. But there's another word that begins with W that embodies everything about the men of the GOP, and that is weak. WEAK, weak. So let's take a look at all the examples we have of their weakness. Okay. How about a 78-year-old candidate for the GOP who spends his sleepless nights behind the veneer of his low rent, low class social media site, spewing vitriol and hate, taking pot shots at people in the dark? That's weakness. Okay. That's real weakness. Trump's sudden move of the September debate from ABC to Fox without consulting the other half of that debate, Kamala Harris, is a sign of weakness. It proves that he knows he hasn't got a prayer debating her on an open debate stage. He's got to have it in his venue where his little low rent, low class sycophants can be there to protect him and make sure they softball him with only questions he can handle. And so he can sit there and insult Kamala Harris endlessly without any pushback from its moderators. That's weakness. That's not strength. We have other events in history. Let's go back a couple of years to when his erstwhile little VP candidate was running for the Senate. You'll remember that Simone Biles, and this is kind of timely, Simone Biles took herself out of competition to take care of her mental health. What did J.D. Vance have to say about that? He said, and I'm going to quote him, "I think it reflects pretty poorly on our sort of therapeutic society that we try to praise people, not for their moments of strength, not for moments of heroism, but for their weakest moments," end quote. Anytime somebody who spends their life working to achieve the levels required in the kind of competition that Simone Biles is involved in, who can walk away from that to take care of a very serious personal issue, that's a show of strength. J.D. Vance's commentary is a show of weakness. Period. End of story. By the way, I'd like to remind Vice President potential Vance that Simone Biles has 10 gold medals and 30 world championship medals. She is the most decorated gymnast in history, and she's largely regarded as the best gymnast in history. And by the way, she's already won 3 gold in Paris this year. I'd like to remind him of that because there is a vast difference between Simone Biles and J.D. Vance. And I'd like to also say that Simone Biles got back at Donald Trump after winning by saying, "I love my black job." What could have been more perfect to a weakling like Donald Trump? There are other examples. We have tons of them. Let's go back to Mitch McConnell. Mitch McConnell, whose wife served under Donald Trump, but who Donald Trump chose to insult because Mitch McConnell was supporting several Democrat-sponsored bills. So this is what Donald Trump tweeted. Quote, "He has a death wish, must immediately seek help and advice from his China-loving wife, Coco Chow," end quote. Attacking people's wives is a sign of weakness. It's a sign of weakness. And by the way, I'd like to respond to Mitch McConnell's lack of saying anything to Donald Trump about insulting his wife because he's a weakling too. The GOP is full of weak men. Let's look at something more recent. How about the little trip to New York to support their Führer at his hush money trial? How about grown men standing there in the same blue suits and red ties as Donald Trump, as if that's a show of strength? That's a show of weakness. When you have to dress like the criminal you are putting forth for the presidency of the United States, that is not a show of strength. that as a show of weakness. The GOP is weak all the way around. They blew off the people's work to show up in New York and show support for Donald Trump, dressed in little monkey suits, because they have no ability for independent thought. They are as cultist as the GOP's followers. The GOP is full of weak little men who have no business running the nation. And now they are facing a strong woman of color at the top of the Democratic ticket. And we have a golden opportunity for the women of this nation to show just how strong they are. We are anywhere from 51 to 53% of the population now. We are in the majority. And we have an opportunity to send weak little Donald Trump to the showers and remove the weak little men of the GOP from our government. I'll talk to you all later.